Let's hope it's not a 7-0 7-0 sweep.
What a troll
Right.
that would be. I mean, look, on paper, this is really good.
Okay.
Okay. Because in
Yeah.
Copper, everyone coming into Copper said, oh my goodness, Legorv, still underpromoted despite the jump in divisions, and he's just gonna romp. And that's mostly been true. Legorv is 9-0-1, but monaters is 8-0-1. They drew each other. Monaters has beaten everyone else. And Paratroopa is actually 6-3, so pretty good themselves. Most of their losses have come to the better players in the division, although they have to play monaters and Legorv in the last 2 weeks, so really ramping up the difficulty as the season goes on. But on paper, yeah, this is a really good tight match.
Yep. All right, we'll get into them picks and bans. Oops, I forgot to turn that slideshow on. Anyhow,
favorite podcast.
Unfortunately, the band first banned venue right away, Redwoods. So that's unfortunately a standard ban for most people. Ballroom is also banned, less standard, but that's all right. It's a venue you can ban. Paratroopa restricts nothing. Monaters restricts aquarium, which has sort of been a new standard. And then we get into the picks. Doubled high rise to start. I like seeing that, and I very much like seeing doubled gallery. Then of course the final 2 venues. I really hope we get to Taiyan and Courtyard.
Yeah, this is pretty standard. These are the venues they like to pick. Ballroom was banned because he picks it a lot, and Monaters loves him some gallery, almost as much as Courtyard, as a matter of fact. Those are his top 2 picked venues by a 2-to-1 ratio over the third. So this is just standard for Monaters. Paratroopa cannot be surprised by these picks, I will say, which means they let them fall through deliberately. Interesting thought.
Interesting.
Yeah, when someone picks the same venue over and over and you don't ban it, that has to be a conscious choice, right? So it's saying, I think I can actually handle them on the venues they like.
Or you're like me and you don't do any research.
Could be that too.
Yeah, honestly, like, if someone's banning Redwoods and the other person's not played Redwoods before, I think that's a dubious ban.
Yeah, it could be.
No one likes Redwoods, so why even ban it?
Interesting thought.
Yeah, well, I think at the very least Checker likes Redwoods.
I mean, Checker likes all his children.
Yeah. Yes.
None more or less than the others.
Let's say he loves the baby of the family most. Redwoods is newest, therefore it gets the most attention, just like in a real family.
I mean, I do like Redwoods, but
I didn't sound too bitter there as the oldest in my family, did I? No? Okay. Just checking.
Yeah. No, definitely not. Anyway, we got a match here, and I can't see
Firstborn problems.
How many siblings do you have?
6.
I've been...
What? Excuse me?
Yes, I have 6 siblings.
Okay. All right, there we go. Now we can see the game.
So you have a 7th child.
Let me do some quick adjusting in this.
Apparently that's a lucky omen.
All right. Everything is
7.
good.
Yeah.
It's a 7-0 in our household. Yes. Maybe not. Maybe on tonight's cast, but in the household, it's definitely 7-0 every day.
All right. Anyway, we got Paratroopa as the first spy here, as Seek, ready to. Looks like we can go grab a quick bug here. We can go grab a book. I have a feeling neither of those things are going to happen, but we'll see. Either of you want to count us in?
Sure. Monaters sniping, Paratroopa playing Seek on Redwoods in 3, 2, 1, playing it. And this is the quote-unquote standard high-rise setup. The hardtails are
Redwoods.
off, except for bug.
This is a weird-looking Redwoods.
Yeah, pretty standard. I will say that we're seeing Purloin on a lot more than Fingerprint increasingly. But that's the only real exception. Paratrooper ends up at the green bookshelf next to their seduction target and immediately gets a green flirt. Both players, by the way, do have AT rates pushing 50%, which is pretty good for anyone and very good for this level. And you're seeing the benefits there right away. You get to look like you're idling at the shelf, possibly flirt paired early, which is something that even if you're not the kind of person to flirt pair, on high rise 3-5, you might do it.
Yeah, there's just not that many people, right?
Yeah, you can afford to.
Sometimes it's just like not much to look at.
Yep, but if you do that, if you're the kind of person who doesn't normally flirt pair and you try to do it here, it can make you paranoid too. So it's a little dangerous to just try to fold that into your game just on these mission setups and not anything else. We are waiting for our seduction target to finish this little statue visit, and we might want them to be next to us. However, statue visits are just fine because that's kind of what you want on high rise 3-5. You want AIs to complete, you want them to get prints, you want them to finish inspects and give you framing opportunities. You might never have to finish. Speaking of which, here comes the banana bread. It's a white test.
Ooh. That's actually a pretty good one. Only like 2 people outside of the conversation circles.
Yeah, you'll take it. And the population of the two conversation circles roughly split even, although we are the first one to leave afterwards. Some snipers think that is a very suspicious thing, the first person to leave after a contact goes off, and that is indeed the spy in this case. But we've got a mission and a half done with 2 minutes left as well. We are next to our seduction target again. We're going to try to two-flirt right here. This would absolutely open things up to us, especially if we want to finish inspects right afterwards. Nobody likes to shoot early on high-rise if they can help it. But spies want to get AIs a chance to complete too. There it is, another green test. Paratroopa didn't hit the green BB, but did hit the two flirts. Not sure which is more valuable in this setup, but we have 2 missions done and a lot of time to watch the AIs and decide how we want to finish. What do you do here, Wodar? Do you rush statues, force the shot, or do you wait it out?
I mean, like I feel like if we do statues, we'll get shot, right? So I really want to get like a bug, because like I think bug is something that you can do quickly, and like given the right opportunity, can be hidden, unlike fingerprints, or inspects.
Well, in over a dozen high-rise games, Paratroopa has bugged very, very rarely, actually, although some of those are 4-7 variants previous seasons. We are going to go right into center statues, though, and we're going to force Monaters' hand immediately. We're going to say, do you think I'm finished already? Do you think I two-flirted? That first inspect is a red, though. We might not be able to finish this in one go. This could force a very difficult decision. We're going to need a green at minimum. And right away, because of the red, Paratroopa says, no way, not going to do it. Does that read as a one cycle, though? If it reads as a one cycle, then Monaters might notice and not shoot anyway.
But wasn't that a 2-cycle? Like,
I'm not sure, but that was a red test, and clearly we're deciding not to finish. We're going to go get a fingerprint off this book instead, and now we've got options. We can get a fingerprint or go to basically any statue other than that one on the entire venue will now allow us to finish inspects. But I wonder if the plan was to finish until we hit that red.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just thinking, like, if we got like all greens, could we have finished at that point?
Oh, yeah, I think so. We're going to go back into statues right afterwards, too. So we're going to have a superfluous print, and we're going to force Monaters to make that difficult choice. But it's in the waning seconds. The beep beeps have started. We're in the mission win countdown. Monaters takes the shot. No one else is finishing. Pretty docile party. Spy goes down. 1-0 Monaters.
That is actually really interesting with the first inspects, if that didn't go wrong. I wonder if you could have won, though.
Yeah, I think so. And that's kind of the decision. We say this a lot. When you two-flirt on some of these Softail variants, you really don't want to just automatically shoot the first person who could theoretically be done, especially if you're trying to flirt pair and then you're crediting them with the two-flirt. That's a tough thing to do. Sometimes forcing their hand like that with the early statue visit would do it. In this case, the red test, though, might have dissuaded them. Hard to say. Either way, Monaters jumps all over what might have been a small mistake. There's an extra fingerprint hanging out, but we didn't end up using it. We're going to go into the next game now. Monaters is going to be spying, Paratroopa sniping. Monaters playing as one of the twins. Which one is that? I can't see from this angle.
That is Plane Twin.
All right, Plane Twin it is. In 3, 2, 1, plane in it. Here we go. We are near our selection target. Yep. There's a little bit of a pile up right there. Yeah. By the way, both players picking the same ambassador, Cowboy, and both snipers low lighting the ambassador. That is not a super common thing. Highlighting is more common.
Huh. But what's the logic of highlighting the ambassador?
Well, easier to see them. Well, actually, it's more about not low lighting them, in my opinion. The highlighting versus neutral light is pretty minor. Do you want to be able to spot them at a glance? At least that's how I think of it when I highlight them. But the main thing for low lighting them is that if you take soft low lights, then you will not catch bugs basically ever. Because a low light character into a low, and we have seen this occasionally. Lazy Bear likes to low light the ambassador and also take soft low lights, and those two things can compound in dangerous ways. Monaters has not done anything yet. We're going to do a quick reject on this drink, and drink rejects, like flirt pairing, the kind of thing a sniper is more incentivized to notice on high-rise 3-5 than other venue or mission setups. We are going to go next to our seduction target here. Is this close enough to get a 3-flirt if we don't green? We're going to find out. Ponytail is between us. It is 32%. So, yeah, we still got plenty of time, but we did take about a minute to get that first flirt in.
Yeah. I think that says to me if they greened it, it would have been like a 49.
Yeah,
so I think maybe just barely if they like moved closer than for the next flirt.
Yep, and that those feet sticking out from Wheels there might be a little misleading in terms of the distance. Wheels is going to move around, though, so this might get a little bit easier. There have been statue visitors already. I believe there's a print on that far right statue on the 3 set as well. Ambassador is moving around a fair bit, and that leads to frame opportunities potentially. And it looks like we're just going to wait and see where Wheels ends up before deciding what to do next. Watching the party, obviously a big part of high rise, not just for the sniper, but for the spy relative to other venues. We're going to start the banana bread right here. It's going to be a white. Our seduction target's going to get knocked out. The SDA is not in conversation either. Only 3 people could have a reel. It takes just before the actual double agent leaves. It's Plane Twin, the spy, Kane, and Taft are the only 3 person from the sniper's vantage point who have a real banana bread, and that is really bad for Monaters.
Yeah, it really nails it down.
We're going to want to fake at some point now. We don't know that, though.
Yeah, that's unfortunate when you the whole mechanic of just not knowing who the other double agent is.
Yep. Although you can sort of ascertain it after a while. For those who don't know, the suspected double agent will never enter a conversation with the double agent, and sometimes you can infer who it is. On High Rise in particular, we're going to do I like the sip cancel during the briefcase. That's some really good mechanics from Monaters there, and we have a print for our trouble as well. We still need 2 flirts, however, and with a minute left, we are running out of time to even timer flirt. So this is a big decision.
We got a print from the drink that we got, and we picked up the briefcase, maybe hoping that there was still a print on it.
That's a bug attempt, and wow, Paratroopa's all on it. We had a little bit of cover from that pillar, but Paratroopa was watching him. The whole thing about that bug right there, is, would I really bug out front like this? And turns out the answer is yes, and Paratroopa was willing to assume it could be yes, and there we go.
Yeah, wow. they were waiting for a bug like that, it looks like, from the camera angle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, all over it. 2 wins for the sniper. And we're heading into the 3rd game right here. It's going to be Paratroopa as general spying. Monaters back on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
So I've been thinking about this, Roy. I wonder if you want Purloin on, even if you don't plan on doing anything with it.
I mean, that's certainly the argument, right? There's a big argument for it. It's another thing to watch like the bug. It makes it easier to miss that statue visit, the one behind the screen, for example, easier to miss a fingerprint, and it gives you a way to bail things out if the ambassador is not vulnerable and you want to rush a mission late. And hey, sometimes you just lean into the Purloin chain, and if you hit a green, you put the sniper in a difficult position. It really depends on how good the sniper is, but yeah, we're seeing it on more and more, and I think it's a reasonable choice. We're out front again with the ambassador. Again, it's Cowboy. Again, they're low lit. We are talking to our seduction target, and we do hit a green. 51%. Paratroopa starts each game pretty much the same way. We're going to take a drink to look a little less conspicuous and hopefully kill some time.
I feel like seeing like Paratroopa always starts with a flirt is a little bit disingenuous when basically everyone starts with a flirt, especially on this map.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty standard, although you have to be a little more careful here than other places. The downside is pretty small on 4.8 and 5.8 venue setups, but on High Rise 3.5, as I mentioned, some people are incentivized. Let's see here. The flirt timer is still going down. We've got about 2 minutes left, and I think Paratroopa is just going to try to finish in 2 again, and you wonder if it's going to go a little differently this time. It feels like it was very close to working last time. Let's see, is Monaters? Yep, Monaters is going to take that low light on the briefcase redirect. If Paratroopa notices this on the replays, they could go low light baiting in the future, but it might only work on High Rise, and this is our last High Rise game of Spy. That is a 2 flirt again. Paratroopa 4 for 4 on these green flirts early on. Very nice.
So good. It opens up so much more time. Now that you don't have to worry about getting another flirt.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And again, even if you're not flirt pairing, just going on the timing of the clock, there's a certain point in the game in which you think, unless you're tracking it very closely, you're going to assume most people could have flirt done. But with 2 minutes left, almost never, unless you're tracking it granularly. Paratroopa has to decide what to do next. The double agent's in the other conversation with just the ambassador, and now they're all left alone. The suspected double agent's in our conversation. A fake might be okay here, but we're going to give off 3 lowlights. We don't know that one of them is already low-lit. Paratroopa's just thinking it's not a good time, and they are right. Need to see where this double agent goes. They're going to go to the other side of the venue, and we cannot Banana Bread now. Might be a time to do something else first and Banana Bread at the end. Paratroopa looks like they're just waiting for the party to settle, though. Drink reject. Nothing going on. The party is just not doing what we wanted to. Double agent goes back to their conversation. There's a highlight in there with the ambassador, a low light too, but we don't know that. This actually looks like a pretty good opportunity to go Banana Bread. We're going to fake instead. It's a green. And look at this. Pencil Stash bails right afterwards, our seduction target. That might be a little suspicious from the sniper's perspective. We're going to need to get a real one at some point, though. But what's the 3rd mission going to be? We're running low on time, and if the double agent leaves, it's late enough in the game, they might not come back in. We're going next to the double agent. Here we go. Big moment. This might induce a shot. Still gonna need to find another mission, though, and this is the kind of time where you wish Purloin was on, because the ambassador is not at all buggable, but you don't necessarily want to go to statues either this late. We're gonna take a drink, and it really feels like we're just banking on a shot. We're just gonna Banana Bread and hope for the best, it seems like, and that's gonna work! That's gonna work! One of the few people who had a reel on the previous BB was indeed Leopard Print, and she gets shot. Paratroopa, patient, calm, trusts the process, gets the spy win on High Rise.
So let me give you a little bit of secret. I actually previewed this game in particular. I know you ready to see like one of the best AIs for a spy ever.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I see a center statue visit for Leopard, certainly. It could be as simple as that. Yeah.
She went side statue to center statue.
So just enough of a why would I do that kind of spy thing, you're thinking, yeah?
to going up to the paintings. Like
Mhm.
one thing I really love about this is that I think Paratroopa was on to Rocker and
Yeah,
like knew, and that's why they picked the
right.
BB particularly,
Yeah, I
waiting
think
for
you're
them to
right.
be in.
Well, this is the way the first game ripples throughout the second potentially. So not every sniper will shoot anyone who could be done on high rise, right? Some do, some don't. But for some, it's really that simple. They're saying AIs don't usually complete, spies complete more. I'm content to win 2/3 of my high rise games by shooting the first person to complete most of the time.
Mhm.
And monaters seem to do that the first game more or less. So paratroopers maybe just saying, this is really what I'm banking on. If the sniper in the first high-rise spy game out of a doubled venue pick like this doesn't shoot the first person who's done, you really have to think about whether or not you want to finish or not the second game. But if they do, maybe you just want to lean into that frame. Either way, whatever it is, it's a good frame. It's an AI who sure looks like they're finishing and is even next to the ambassador at one point. Ooh, pretty
Yeah.
rough. Paratroopa now is going to get at least a split on high rise, moving into the final game up 2-1. And again, I'll tell you, monaters 8-0-1 coming into this, so even a tie, pretty big statement game.
I'm gonna
Two to
take a
one now. Yeah,
Yep.
ready to go in 3, 2, 1, playing it. And monaters is playing queen,
So
trying to
actually,
knot
one
this
thing
up.
I really loved about that frame is that like it almost you never get the opportunity on high rise, right? Like how often does a AI actually even finish in specs?
Yeah, not as frequently as you'd like. Some games it feels like it happens a lot, and when you need it to, it never seems to. We're going to get inspects done immediately as monaters. And what I really meant was we're going to go to statues immediately, but no, we're going to literally finish inspects immediately. We're going to go to the two statue sets, and we're going to finish it right away with about 3 minutes left on the clock. The question is, what do we do next? This might pair better with a non-softail finish. This might pair better with a bug or a fingerprint. We're right next to the ambassador. It is going to be a bug as we enter the conversation. And Paratroopa has to at least suspect this, and we are in with a double agent. We're going to contact. It's going to be a white test, and we're going to be done with 2 minutes and 39 seconds left on the clock. 9 seconds left. Tough shot for Paratroopa. Tough shot. Can you really credit this? It's a good bug. It's a drink take. No shots coming. Monaters hits right back in 1 minute and 2 seconds with a bug on high rise. That is a very good bug.
That was really good. I didn't even see it while watching, and just because it was a wrong arm bug. That was
Oh,
really, really good timing.
really solid stuff from monaters. Once they went to that second statue, you could hear me talk. I started talking about it. I said, you know what? This doesn't feel like I'm going to finish statues early and then go for the softail. This feels like something else. And the ambassador was in the perfect position for it. And who's really expecting a rush on 3-5 high rise? You don't see it that often, but you got it here because we were right between the double agent and the ambassador. It was 3 differently colored triangles all in a row. Absolutely beautiful, both aesthetically and figuratively, because that was a heck of a spy game.
Not only the ambassador, but like our ST was in the perfect spot to block our other arm going out. Like everything lined up. Everything turns up monaters.
Everything comes up monaters. No, look, I mean, we talk about it all the time. It's a mix of skill and opportunism. When the party is going to give you a little opening sometimes, and when it does, do you jump on it or not? Monaters absolutely pounced on it and salvages a tie on high rise. Now it's going to be Paratroopa on gallery, playing as Leopard. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
This lets me rant about gallery now, about how gallery is not a good map.
Well, it's an odd venue. There's no doubt about it. It's challenging, although for the most part, spies at this point understand how it's challenging. They understand flirt cannot be taken for granted. They understand that a second hardtail sometimes is necessary. If the ST bails on you once or twice on ballroom, who cares? If they bail on you once or twice here, it can be absolutely massive and ripple throughout the rest of the game. Speaking of which, we're waiting for our ST to settle. I think the camera's pointing around, looking at General, seeing where he is. Instead, we're going to take a drink and leave, and General's just going to stay at that exact same statue, act very, very AI-like, which is unfortunate because you'd love to get that first flirt in, especially as Paratroopa, who, as I mentioned earlier, has 4 green flirts already to their credit in this match. And you can see the camera shake on the spy side just a little bit, saying, come on, General, come on, slow down. At least go to a painting pad.
I can confirm that this is an odd map. There are 23 characters on it.
Here we go. We're just sipping this drink. Probably out of frustration at this point.
Yeah,
General goes outside, comes back in.
Yeah.
We really want to get that first flirt in, as you mentioned earlier. It's pretty standard, but sometimes you just can't do it. Here comes the General. Is he finally going to join us? Yes, but he's across from the conversation. That's good for eye contact, bad for actual flirt percentage. Counterintuitively.
We see like this is good for real flirting.
Yeah, well, of course, eye contact's a huge part of it. Anyway, in this case, no good. Not only is it a cross, it's a white test, which means 17%. Kids, that is the lowest flirt percentage you can get on a flirt that actually takes at all.
Banana bread.
Basically,
gonna-
is zero.
Yeah, we're going to fake banana bread right afterwards because the front conversation was full and the back was pretty close too.
But none of the suspected double agents were in conversation.
Just one with us, who I think joined around the same time, so that's not great. But it's still a very large pool, and only a few lowlights have come off, so I think it's good to throw a little chaff in the air potentially. And Paratroopa's going to go to blue bookshelf now. If only to break up this flirt. You really hope General sticks around. It's going to be a fingerprint, though. It's on the book. And General's about to take a drink, which could give them an occasion to leave. We're going to at least want to wait and see where they go, if anywhere. You want them to stay put, and they do. So this book's probably going to go right back in, and we're probably going to take that spot next to them if we can to try to get a better flirt in and salvage that earlier bad flirt. There's less than 2 minutes left, and we only have 17% and one fingerprint. We're going to squish in with Orange Sorry. This is a little suspicious, but it's still gallery. It's not too bad. If we hit a green here, we're going to be just fine. It's a white test that takes us up to 51%, so we can still 3-flirt, but we're going to need a green for it. Not a great position, but a little better than we were before. 90 seconds left on the clock. General leaves, and if they go to a painting pad, they do. And if we get the flirt cooldown timer, we could actually finish this a little bit quicker. You want them to sip. You want them to go to another painting pad. There's the sip. Paratroopa probably waiting for that cooldown. There it goes. Just 5 seconds ago, it's gone off, but they're probably going to be gone by the time we get there. You need them to come back or go to another painting pad. They are going to come back. I think this might be just close enough for the green. Can we finish this flirt afterwards? We do! The green! Just when Paratroopa needs it. The General, so reticent to be talked to first, suddenly very eager for it, just in time. There's 1 minute left, though, and we only have a mission and a half done.
This should be just a 1 of 8, and maybe the spy will win like half the time.
Yeah, maybe if it were seduce. We do not decide to purloin there with the clock ticking down, though. We reject, and Orange Sorry rejects. It's actually a bit of a reject chain. The problem is we started the reject chain, so we can't really jump on it very easily without being potentially suspicious. Queen takes. It's an innocent take. There are only a few highlights here. It's not clear whether or not Matters is thinking about shooting anybody. It was a pretty good banana bread. General's going back to statues, but it's the same set as before, and if Monaters remembers that, they'll have no reason to shoot them. 25 seconds, hoping for another Civ shot Paratroopa is, but I don't know if we can frame here. I guess we're just going to have to dump the book. Why are we going to blue unless there's another print? And even if there is, we can't finish in time. It is a print. It is a print. We're done with fingerprint. We're going to have to dump the bug and contact. We're going to have to dump this book at minimum. And with 10 seconds left, I just can't imagine this is going to work unless Monaters is absolutely tunneled on someone else. We're not dumping the book anyway. It's got to be purloin, contact, purloin, bug. There's no way we're going to get outside in time. Where are we going? 3 seconds left. We're just resigned to run out of time. And that's exactly what we do. Monaters holds their shot. Paratroopa gets 2 soft tells done in fairly dramatic fashion, but does nothing else.
So you can't see my face, but like this game physically hurt me.
I can feel your face. I can feel it. It's exerting a gravitational pull on my face right now.
Just, oh my god.
I mean, we've seen games where it unravels, they try to frame, but in this case, it felt like if you were trying to frame, you would have done a couple other things there at the end. Very strange to get fingerprint done.
I wouldn't really call this unravel because it felt like everything went wrong from the beginning. Right? It took us, what is it, like a minute or two to get our first flirt?
Yeah, certainly, but there were a few ways, granted very high-risk ways to try to finish that game. Dump the book, for example, or even with the print there, get a purloin chain going, something like that. That's more likely to at least induce a shot when it's obvious that Monaters is probably not going to shoot.
So we can decide either timing out or getting ourselves shot.
Right, and the question is, what are we doing there at the end? Are we running for windows? You know it's going to take at least 15 to 20 seconds, and you have no hope of getting there at all. You need to try to at least induce a shot. Do something, dance, whatever. Anyway, whatever we were going to do...
Like there was at least a chance to get could have gotten a bug on the ambassador as they're at bookshelf, and then grab a fingerprint, and then...
It's a very risky bug to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of risky things, but I mean, I question the point of going for that fingerprint if
well,
that's all they're planning on doing.
The double agent was out
because all that does is give you extra suspicion on yourself if you're just going to time out.
Right. I think part of the problem here is when they were looking for ways to finish, the double agent was out front for a very long time, left conversation at 30 and then went to statues. So contact was not going to be part of it. We're looking at dump the book into a purloin or something, and those are all very low. You might think at that point the odds of success are so low that I'd rather time out and have that in the back of Monaters' mind the next time I actually try to finish. So that
it was a bit unfortunate that the BB was fake for everybody. Very. Did not know that with the conversation as full as it was. But anyhow, we got...
Yep. Good hold from Monaters. Monaters is now going to be spying as Tealon Gallery up 3-2 in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Smallman is the seduction target, and for those who don't know, when you pick Smallman as your seduction target, that's the only way to be positive they are not cast, except when they're the spy, of course. So a more popular seduction target than average, to say the least, and we are going to immediately chase them out front in an otherwise pointless conversation. We're going to flirt immediately, and Monaters is also going to hit that green test and stop talk right away, even though we started talking after Smallman, and then we're just going to bail. We are going to rudely flirt and get the heck out of there. Monaters gets half the flirt immediately and goes to make more progress. This is the kind of aggressive spy we are used to seeing from Monaters. There's a bug opportunity right here, but Monaters doesn't look like they want to take it unless the ambassador walks by us. We might be setting up for that stationary bug. No, we're going to spend a very little time on this painting pad, and then we're going to go into this conversation, I think, here, and possibly contact. It's a decent time. Remember, Monaters' last win was that high-rise game where they rushed missions, and this has the same feel. It's a green BB. Are we going to split right afterwards into a briefcase or something? It sure feels like it. Monaters is looking at the party, though. Yep. And we are not staying anywhere more than 5 or 6 seconds.
Yeah, you could get away with that sometimes, especially at the beginning of gallery.
Yeah, you certainly can. Don't let the heels fool you. Monaters doesn't mind walking. We're going to go all the way out front. We're going to do that little stop on the full conversation for gallery because there is not room. A little bit of low light bait. Maybe lose a little heat even if you don't get the low light. Paratroopa has not rewarded it yet, but we are going to go to statues. And are we going to get a highlight for this? Yes, we are. Standard statue highlight. So the low light doesn't work, although I kind of like it because if you're going to go to statues, do that first. And if you're low lit, you're still making progress. And progress is the name of the game. Look at this. Monaters, contact done, flirt half done, inspect 1 visit in already. Are we going to squish in this time? We can't 2 flirt from where we are. We're going to briefcase instead. Is there even a print on this?
No, it's already 2 off.
So Monaters has done 2 different things in that exact spot right outside of the gallery doorway, trying to get a low light. Neither has worked yet. We see the ambassadors at bookshelves. The briefcase goes down. We want to flirt again, but Smallman's on the move, so we're probably going to hang out at this painting pad. That's exactly what we're going to do. Smallman going to come next to us? Almost. We're going to go next to him, and we're going to get this flirt done, and it is a green. It is a 2 flirt. You know, what are they say pictures are worth 1,000 words, but these are worth 0 because a painting pad, you can flirt without talking. Seduce is done, and we're going to go in for the inspects. Here we go. Inspects done, and Monaters is playing this just like the high-rise game, except 3 soft tails done already, and now we have 100 seconds to do 1 hard tail. That's pretty quick for gallery.
How long have you been holding on to that one, Track?
I don't know, 5 seconds. Here we go. Inspects done. What's it going to be? Oh, we're shot immediately. We're just crediting a possible print or bug. It doesn't matter. We're just moving around, and Paratroopa is all over it. That looked like such a clean game from Monaters, but the shot is downright dirty.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, does anything actually matter if you just get shot for finishing inspects?
That's a good question. Let's explore this just a tiny bit. We don't want to belabor it, but with just 1 match today, let's turn this into a quasi-slow cast. Yeah, no,
Sure.
Wodar. How does it feel to you psychologically as a spy? And Kintos, you can jump in too. How does it feel to you psychologically as a spy when you get shot, let's say, for rushing a bug or a swap early versus almost getting there, right? Getting away with 3 soft tails. Does it matter to you?
It does. I mean, it matters more like the timing of like if I had to wait like 4 minutes to get shot rather than like a minute to get shot. Like the time investment, even though that shouldn't matter, does matter.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a bit of a psychological thing. On one hand, you might think I got close, and that feels better than just, throwing a game away. You also tax the sniper a little bit more. On the other hand, when you get close, when you think it's going well, and then it goes badly, that can be very jarring as a spy. So it can go either way, certainly, but that's a really good shot from Paratroopa.
Especially when you haven't done anything especially suspicious, or at least you don't think you have. You go like, what? How did I get shot for doing that?
Well, that's a great question, right? No hard tails. However, a lot of little soft tail behavioral things, which is to say a lot of movement, a lot of walking around. Sometimes that adds up, right?
Can I like push back a little bit on that being like a good shot? Like not
sure. No, you absolutely can. No, you're right.
Paratroopa's like ability, like like they won the game. I'm saying more of like a BB happened, and a person did sort of a lot of walking and then finished inspecting, and then you shot. Right? Like, no, that's not a difficult shot to take.
Right, so it definitely depends, right? If that's shot out of jumpiness and we didn't really suspect very much and we're just shooting the first person to finish, that could be a bad shot for that reason. There are 2 ways in which it can be a good shot, though. One is that we notice all the bumping around, we notice the quick leaves, we notice maybe the aggressive flirt in the very beginning even, for that matter. Or we also just know maybe our opponent, and we think this is what Monaters likes to do. He likes to quasi-rush. That would make it a good shot, too. So you're right. You cannot extrapolate from the result whether or not it's a good or bad shot. It could be either, depending on the thought process.
I mean, like, rather than good or bad, I'm just saying, like, that's an easy shot to take, right? Like, there's no, like, real, like, technical, like, wizardry going on in your head while saying, oh, this person finished in specs and BB.
Right.
And probably finished flirt.
It may or may not
now
be.
they're coming for me. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, it depends. It really depends on what's going on in that head, certainly. It's not catching a really sick bug or noticing a great long purloin chain. That is absolutely true. Could be paranoid, could be perceptive, could be knowing your opponent, could be catching that tiny little flirt in the beginning and literally just waiting for them to finish the whole game, toying with them like a cat with a mouse.
Could be gallery.
Or it could be gallery. We don't need more of an explanation than that sometimes. Either way, we are all tied up. 3-3. Paratroopa playing as Duke on gallery in 3, 2, 1, playing it. This is a really good set already, though. We are seeing aggressive spies. We're seeing patient spies. We're seeing a mix. We're seeing good sniper play. This is very interesting. And look at this. monaters is zoomed in on the Ambassador early on, really worried about those chaos bugs. But Paratroopa is on the other side of the venue entirely and is going to go into statues right away and pick up a rote highlight along with 2 other people. 3 early statue visits. And for monaters, highlighting for statues, there's a 4th seek. Every statue is occupied. If you're highlighting for statues on gallery, this is a bad start for you.
Definitely. But, I mean, how many of them are actually going to finish in specs, right?
That's
how many of them
the
are
question,
going to be other sets of statues?
That's absolutely right. And you have to remember that too, by the way. And there's a 5th statue visitor. Yeah, the question is, do you remember that, or is it any highlight who goes to statues, especially if they go at the end of the game? You might not remember, and you might not be willing to take that risk. Either way, it's a challenge for the sniper when they've decided to highlight 4 statues. Paratroopa takes an innocent drink. He's going to green banana bread right after that. We're going to knock out one of those statue visitors and a few other people besides. That is 6 lowlights in total, it looks like. That's pretty good. Pretty good for the sniper there. That's going to help a little bit, but most of those highlights stayed in, which is arguably more important.
How do you feel about gulping the drink here and hoping that the Ambassador walks on other... Oh, well, the Ambassador went the other way.
Yeah, they did, but we were kind of leaning into that coin flip a little bit. I think it's a decent choice. You're probably going to get away with the gulp there, and that bug, as I know from experience, can be well-nigh impossible to catch, especially from Duke. That actually happened to me against Durand. He had a side bug like that on the pad right next to where Paratroopa was just standing as the exact same character, and all I could do was suspect it and barely took the shot in the end after a purloin. It can be very hard to catch, absolutely. We're going to go all the way out front. We are kind of close to our seduction target. We have no flirts left in, but we're just close enough. Look at that. The tiny conversation circle means that we squeeze in just a little bit, and even though there's someone between us, the flirt is worth 51%. Paratroopa killing it on these flirt action tests, and it is keeping these games viable when they would not otherwise be.
But there's not someone between us. The seduction target is wheels.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. I'm looking from the wrong angle, and it looks like it's above. It looks like it's above Green Dress's head. There we go. She just moved it a little bit, and now I see it. You're correct. Either way, these green tests are really, really a big deal. Yeah. Really, really helpful on gallery in particular. This ATs matter more on gallery, I'm going to say, than most other venues.
God, it should still be like 6 minutes on gallery. Just to make
6
it even
minutes.
worse match.
You need time to ponder all that deep, deep abstract art.
Yeah.
Paratroopa still finishing this drink.
I would say this is more like primary art.
There we go. Look at that. Another 2 flirt from Paratroopa. So we have 4 flirts completed in 9 action tests. That's only 1 more than the minimum possible. That is really, really good. And Paratroopa doesn't have to do anything because Smallman gets shot. Do I even need to analyze this, Wodar?
Oh, why did Smallman get shot? Did Smallman just do a bug?
I mean, even though he's a computer-controlled, I'm tempted to say yes. Smallman was at statues. Let me see.
Yeah,
once.
Interestingly, just before that, safety was off on Alice for some reason.
Yeah, might just be some paranoia. I don't know. I think Smallman had only been to statues once, but he was hanging out in the back of gallery a little bit, and that's really what it is, right? Smallman is going to have possible bugs in the back of gallery. And Paratroopa's action tests go to waste. They went to waste in a loss before. They go to waste in a win here, but probably not picky. It might not be the most satisfying win in the world, but against monaters, who's been one of the top players of the division, you will absolutely take it.
Okay, yeah, but Smallman could have bugged 50 times.
Well, what else?
Yeah,
is new?
but I mean, can you bug? Can you win just by bugging 4 times?
If only. If only.
If only. Wow. So that's a big one right now because monaters is now spying to have a split after the second doubled venue here. Gallery it is. Playing as Red Dress, Paratroopa on the sniper with a chance to take a very significant lead against one of the division's top players in 3, in 2, in 1, in Planet. Here we go. monaters with the instant take control. 0.5 seconds into the timeline, as a matter of fact. monaters does not waste any time and makes a beeline for their seduction target. That's Pencil Stash, who's talking to Leopard. And monaters shoves themselves in between, immediately talks. It's a green test. It's exactly what monaters did the first game, basically.
Ooh,
and we're going to Purloin immediately. White test. Are we even going to be watching for it with all these early statue visitors? We got to get out of there and Gulp to have any chance. I don't think Paratroopa's noticed it yet, though. They have not reacted, no lights. If we gulp this drink, we're going to be fine, but I think we've decided that we are not going to get away with it. We're going to play it cool instead. I think a gulp would just maybe win the game here, but monaters doesn't know that. Has it been seen yet? Have any lowlights come off? There's a drink take. There's the gulp. Twin takes the drink. The list is gone. Twin is in big trouble. There's the zoom for Paratroopa. Highlight from on Leopard, who was standing right next to us. We are not seen with a drink, and I think this is clean. Bling, Twin, and Leopard might be the top suspects. Paratroopa is now very, very worried, looking at everyone in that conversation, which is still the spy, I should note. Another flirt comes in as the cooldown expires. It's a white test this time, unfortunately. 85%, we can't rush this. But there's 3 minutes left, and Paratroopa looks very worried, and I do not think they caught this purloin. Oh, boy.
God, this is like the dichotomy of Gallery, where like sometimes you can just do nothing, but sometimes you can do like 3 missions in one place.
Oh, look at this. That Banana Bread knocks out Bling, who took the list, but Leopard, who got the highlight, who might be the top suspect, is out front with, from the sniper's perspective, an SDA. We know it's the real DA, as a matter of fact. Either way, though, Leopard still in the pool to be shot. Bling, however, does not get low lit, by the way, even though they were out. A little worried about a split, maybe not noticed, and that's really huge because now Bling took the drink right before the sniper noticed and is now at statues as well. This is a dangerous combination. It doesn't feel like Monaters is going to have to finish here to induce a shot, but we'll see. Big test for Paratroopa to try to hold this.
Yeah. What would the Walker have finished, like, in theory, if they were the spy and they get shot? It'd be
purloin and contact,
BB, and flirt. We can give them flirt, but then like what's left?
Well, that's the question. Paratroopa was zoomed in on that ambassador as Leopard came outside. Really feels like they're making a point to keep Leopard in view. And if Leopard so much as passed by the ambassador, that might be enough. Monaters is really playing it cool back there, clearly committed to just getting someone shot. It seems like we've grabbed another drink and we're just sipping it. We have not budged since we got that purloin, and I think that's the right choice. Oh boy, Leopard's going to statues, and the target is seduced in the meantime, just to give us a couple more options. Paratroopa is really worried about this ambassador, and seems like they're still worried about Leopard too.
I will give you that if Leopard goes to the other set of statues, they're probably dead, but
that's still a big ask, yeah.
That's like, what, a 5%?
That's a good question. I don't know. Walking right by the ambassador, but it seems pretty obvious from the sniper's perspective that no bug took place. We had a really good view of it. Here we go. Monaters still sitting, 1 minute left, and we're getting down to crunch time. Monaters has left themselves a couple ways to finish, though.
What would be the ways, like right now, like somehow get a bug, and then, what, dump books?
Yeah, I don't know, but the ambassador's all the way out front. This is not what we wanted. At minimum, you're going to need to get the real BB in, and the double agent is still out front after all this. I don't see how you can finish here. This is rough. You're really banking on this civ shot right now, I think. And if we take this drink, it's going to show that we're not really interested probably in finishing. Leopard's going to go to books. We're going to reject this drink. 30 seconds left. What can Monaters do? They're going to have to bug into a contact out front. No, double agent leaves, goes right back out. Ambassador's moving. The double agent and the ambassador, the two people we probably need, are going in opposite directions. There's no opportunity to frame Leopard anymore, I don't think. If the shot gets held, I don't think Monaters has a viable way to finish, but here comes the ambassador. This is our last chance. I don't even know if he would make it in time for the BB. The ambassador is right next to us in a very buggable position, but can we even contact if we do it right now? I don't think we can. I think Monaters is committed to this timeout. There's the bug. I think we got away with it, but we can't contact. There's 3 seconds left. There's no way to finish. We are committed to the timeout with 3 missions done. 2 hardtails. Paratroopa with the hold.
That's kind of the same situation as the Paratroopa match, where it's like, what's the point of bugging there, other than just why not?
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Jeez. I think that bug was pretty clean, but the problem is, yeah, you were waiting for a good bug. So, really big deal. Jeez. What a hold from Paratroopa. The reaction to the purloin suggests very little confidence about who actually did it. And there was some activity from the possible purloiners. Oh, jeez.
I will say that, I wouldn't quite call it a hold when, like, if that 5%er happened and Walker went to a statue, they would have gotten shot, right?
Probably. I think so. I think at that point, you're thinking, at that point, the sniper is going to say exactly what you said, Wodar. What are the odds, right? What's really the percentage that if this is an AI who was just in the general area of the purloin and they're not knocked out for the BB, possibly by design, but then they go to statues twice of their own accord each set. Yeah. Very tough to credit. Sometimes you're just playing the odds like that. But in this case, it never happens. But it's still a good hold from Paratroopa. Still a good hold. We're going to go into Tan now. Oh, boy.
Hey! A map you can actually finish missions on.
Yeah. By the way, not just a good hold, but a good hold in a big mission,
Hey,
because
you
we
can finish
cash in that
missions on gallery if you actually move.
That's true. Let me just point out, we got 3 missions done without moving our feet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Paratroopa playing his green dress on Tayen with a 5-3 lead against monaters. What a position to be in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Tayen, though, is chaotic. A lot can happen, and it's only a 2-game lead. Very easy for this to swing right back. Paratroopa's going to end up at windows at the start of the game. Cannot make a beeline for the seduction target this time because they are flanked on either side. Really crunched in there. Even if you want to squish in, which we've seen a little bit from spies already, it can't really happen here. Probably not a good time to bug here, even with the ambassador next to us, unless we want to contact first. We're offered a drink. Paratroopa just hanging there, just hanging. Rejects and believes. And when we leave, I don't think we're going to be quite obligated to take this briefcase. Really close. Yep, the suspected double agent wants it. Paratroopa doesn't move, though, regardless. Clearly waiting, if not for the seduction target to move, but for the people flanking them to at least get the heck out of the way to make a little room. I think they want to 2-flirt again. I mean, can you blame them? They've been hitting it almost every time.
Almost every time. Are you ready for my favorite part of TN?
Yes.
Me giving you the stats on what the
Shojis
layout is.
Yes, please do. Meantime, there's a green BB from our green-dressed friend. A lot of green tests from Paratroopa. Wow. Finally, a spot opens up next to the handsome, tall Seek. And we are going to go right next to them. We're going to wait a few seconds to flirt. It's another green test. My God, Paratroopa absolutely on fire with the action tests today. It has not always mattered, though, in the sense of both losing or winning, regardless of those action tests occasionally. But in this case, I can absolutely see it helping. 2 minutes left, a mission and a half done, and it's Tayen, so you can get a lot done in a hurry. There are a few lowlights floating around. Monaters is staring right at us. The ambassador is in a, let's say, moderately buggable position. There is a low-lighted statues, that's unfortunate, but there's a neutral-lighted statues too, who's going to go right next to the ambassador right afterwards. That's the neutral-lit twin, and they're going to contact as soon as they enter. This is going to be a fake after the real, and a lot of people could have a real now, including someone who's just been to statues and was just next to the ambassador. That is Bling Twin. Don't be surprised if a shot comes off there, but they're going to need to do a little more. First, I think if they reject this drink, it might be tempting to get in on that. They're going to take it instead. Paratroopa's going to go back to the other conversation, and there's nothing here for us, though. Nothing at all, except maybe waiting for a bug opportunity in a little while. The ambassador is at green shelves. We might go for a fingerprint. 90 seconds left. Still time to start that mission and finish rather inconspicuously, potentially.
So, as a reminder, we only have like 56 games recorded for this, but in this layout, snipers somehow win 66% of the time.
Yeah, I think that's going to even out a little bit. The ambassador's right next to us, by the way. We could bug into the shelf and get a print, and that's exactly what we do. Paratroopa absolutely reading our minds across time and space. We're going to pick up this book. Remember, they got 2 book prints on gallery, and Monaters probably saw that on the replay, even though it was a timeout. So we have the fingerprint now. We have the bug. We have half the flirt, and we have a lot of ways to finish. There are only 50 seconds left, and Buns there is taking the briefcase and denying us potentially one of our avenues to completion. We still need to flirt, though. We are going to squish in next to Seek. This time, there's just enough room to make it not too suspicious, but we're going to need this green test. Otherwise, things are going to get really, really interesting. We're talking pretty quick. It's a white test, 85%. 85%. That's going to change our plan quite a bit.
Yeah, you have to move now.
You got to move. You already bugged. I think you have to purloin here even, and that's what Paratroopa thinks too, but it's a white test and it's right out front. Are we going to get a good look at the fade? Yes! We're going to get a surprisingly good look at the fade, but maybe not a good enough one. There's a bit of a delay, and center mass right afterwards. Matter says, nope, pretty sure I know what that is. That went from a very promising spy game to just a spy shot, pretty much thanks to missing that flirt, I think.
Yeah, or at least like what they decide to do after it. Like if they got on a green on the purloin, like that would have kept it alive. But like even then, you still need to leave, right? Because you got the last flirt at 36 seconds.
Yes.
The flirt timer right next to a person is like what, 45 seconds?
Wow. Yeah, Monaters assumes real on the BB, and it absolutely pays off. The highlights were fluctuating, too, when it first happened. Paratroopa showing a commitment to 2 BBs a game, though, and it's worked actually pretty well so far. In that case, you really wonder what happens if they 2-flirt it. They've been hitting 2-flirts so often, but they don't this time, and it's easy to imagine it forced them in to a suboptimal plan B. That's the purloin, and green or white. It was risky, but that's what happens. That's what happens. Paratroopa still up 5-4, but Monaters with a chance to pull it back into a tie on Tayen with Ponytail. Speaking of ties, in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
So this is for a marble, right? As people love to say.
If Paratroopa wins, yeah, they're going to guarantee at least a tie. That would be only the second sub-win for Monaters there, rather, I should say.
I love that path. Oh my god.
It's a good path, yeah. And another, stop me if you've heard this one, Monaters is flirting within the first 10 or 20 seconds of the game. This time it's a white test, though, across from our seduction target. 26%, but we'll take it. Monaters not letting their foot up off that gas.
Monaters known for flirting.
I'm surprised you didn't call me off for the car analogy, given the equestrian theme of this particular character.
I'm fine with mixed metaphors.
Good, because I love them and can't help it. It's going to be a Purloin. It's a white test early in the game. That looks pretty visible. Monaters is going to leave immediately. The fade was not visible enough to be sure, I don't think, and it's early enough in the game that we're probably just going to mission count.
Ooh,
this could absolutely just be the gallery game all over again.
That highlight on Smallman tells me like they missed the Purloin.
Well, it could be just that if you did miss a green, it could always be Smallman. It could just be a Smallman caution highlight. There's a BB as soon as Smallman enters, though, too. We have 3 highlights for the potential Purloin, and all of them were in the same conversation for that real BB. That is not what Paratroopa wanted. That is really, really big right now. But the question is, are either of these other 2 going to even get a possible bug? The Ambassador has not been very vulnerable and is moving around. We could have bugged there, but we decided not to. Monaters possibly feeling a little vulnerable. This could be the gallery game again, though.
Oh god, no, don't say that.
Let's see. We're going to flirt. It's another white test, but we're up to 60%. Not too bad.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Plenty of time. Seduction target came to us this time. If we get a green next time, we're going to be just fine. And the other 2 highlights have also not moved, though. There goes Smallman. Oh, boy. Now, here's the thing. Monaters, I don't think, has any specific reason to think Smallman's suspicious beyond being Smallman. But hopefully still noticing what they're doing just in case.
Yep.
Wait for this timer.
This has to be a bug we're fishing for.
Well, I think so, but the thing is, the Ambassador has just not been in very buggable positions for the last 20 or 30 seconds, and as we know, it doesn't matter right there, still worried about it. It might have just been the sip. Looks like a bug from Paratroopa from the other person who we think could have purloined other than Smallman and the Spy. This time, playing it cool after the purloin works, even with the Amba right out front. Monaters and Paratroopa tied at 5. Wow. That is really big, and now marble games. 2 marble games on Courtyard. Paratroopa, oh boy, was up 5-3, has now lost 2 in a row, still needs just 1 win, Spy or Sniper, to steal a point from one of the division's top players. Oh boy, playing as the same character who just won on Tan, as a matter of fact, Ponytail, in 3, 2, 1, Planet.
Do you believe in superstition? Is that why you're pointing out the characters?
I'm not sure. I'm just noting the symmetries. I'll leave the decisions to the rest of you. Monaters on Courtyard so far, actually in SEL history, 71% on Sniper, which is good but not great. It's their 57% Spy win rate. That's been really, really significant. For Paratroopa, not as well. 40% on Spy, 25% on Sniper. So this is a venue where Monaters could still steal this match outright. This is on paper, a big advantage for Monaters, yes.
Track. Paratroopa takes a page out of Monaters' book and gets a fill at the beginning of the game.
And it's another 51%. Paratroopa is just hitting green action tests left and right.
Learning from their opponents.
Well, it's pretty standard regardless, right? Yeah. Yeah. Pretty standard, especially on Courtyard. What's not standard is hitting this many green tests. This is really big. They didn't hit the one I think they really needed on Tayen, and some of the other ones they hit didn't end up mattering, but it's still impressive. The selector target bounces around for a little while and comes right back just as the cooldown expires. You can't ask for more than that. This time it's a white test, though, 85%.
We have time. Unfortunate, but we have time.
Yeah, we have plenty of time. Smallman's at statues. Taft is at statues. 2 early highlights. It's just standard statue highlights on Courtyard. Even if you're the kind of person who doesn't like road statue highlights on Courtyard, you're probably still doing them because it's just kind of OP. Paratroopa is going to help that flirt cool down a little bit by leaving. Entering a conversation with nobody else in it. There is an SDA, might be another fake. Yep, Paratroopa has done this during good banana bread times in general, whether they're in the real conversation or not. They've just taken it to throw a little chaff in the air, and it's actually worked pretty well. Hurt them on Tayen when they did just a real, or initially though. Gotta imagine we're gonna go back and try to get the contact for real and the seduction done in one swoop with about 90 seconds left. If this conversation doesn't fill up, 2 people enter it right after I finish that sentence, and now we're gonna have to squish our way in there, which isn't ideal, but we still have options.
Not ideal.
No, not ideal at all. What's Paratroopa going to do? Here comes a drink offer. We might be banking on a low light for the fake. No, we're not. We're just going to leave. We're going to walk away. And we're going to go into another innocent conversation? No. Our seduction target, though, is there. We're going to walk all the way around the venue with a minute left. And it looked like we were going to be able to finish 2 missions in one go there, but we did not, and suddenly we're running low on time. And remember, we did commit to a timeout earlier on Gallery. There's really not much room in that conversation. We're going to go idle at Windows again, wait for something to open up, but it hasn't yet. Double Agent is at Windows 2, Seduction Target still in the full conversation. What do we do with 50 seconds left?
You have to time ad. I mean, like, I don't think a shot's going to happen.
We're certainly hoping for one at this point. There's no way we're going to rush unless we time ad right here. If we don't time out here, we know we have little intention of finishing. Seduction Target's moving around. I guess we'll go get this flirt just because, but there's really nothing else to do. We're into the beep beeps now. We're under 30 seconds. It's going to be very hard to get away with a time ad. Seduce is done, but it's the only mission done. 20 seconds left, clearly banking on a frame, hoping for a civ shot, and it's just not going to happen. The double agent finally joins. This is the conversation we wanted a minute and a half ago, but it's too late. We do the banana bread with 14 seconds left, which is what you want to do to maximize your chances here, but there's no indication monaters is about to shoot, which means we're going to get another timeout. monaters is going to avoid defeat after being down 5-3, guaranteed at least a tie, and will now spy for the outright win on Courtyard. That is rough. Great hold from monaters again. monaters, Leopard, Courtyard, chance to win 4 in a row and steal a victory, guaranteed at least a marble in 3, 2, 1, playing it. That is 3 in a row from monaters, albeit 2 of them on the sniper side, and the spy win was on Tayen, so not as dramatic as it sounds, but they didn't have any more margin left, and here they have a chance to pull it all the way back.
Yeah, they've won, like, what, 3 in a row, was it?
Yep, 3 in a row, 2 sniper games and a spy Tayen game, so, you know, dampen your enthusiasm just a little bit. monaters is going to stop talk. They were interrupted, I believe, by Kane, but still, I don't know if that's why they did it. monaters has been very aggressive with these early flirts and bails. 25% on the white test, though. We're alone in a conversation. We're going to sip at the end. The other blonde character is not going to join us, and we're going to leave right after the sip and go right back in and flirt again. We're going to join the conversation with a double agent as well. We can flirt and contact. This is a decent time for it if maybe one more person joins. We're going to flirt first to give them a chance to join. 61%. That's a green. Not bad. And I think we could take the BD pretty soon here if we want, especially if Taft gets in this conversation. He does. You got to take this right here. That's what monaters thinks too. It's a green, and the missions are 1.5 done. 2 minutes left. monaters is playing pretty much the exact same way. A lot of aggression.
Good aggression. I think, like, reasonable aggression also, if you want to think about it like that. You know,
Yes.
these are spots you can take, especially at the beginning, of just leaving a conversation when you want to make a really, really bad spot for flooding.
Yep, and it's a signal. It shows that maybe they think from that gallery game, you know what? I don't think I actually got caught for this stuff on that gallery game without the hardtail. I think maybe it was just a jumpy shot. I think maybe it was just a complete inspect shot. It might have been catching one of them. That's a stop talk into another seduce. White test 86%, partially obscured by the statue, but it was just barely on screen, but hard to read from that laser latency on the spy side. Either way, there have been just a few statue visitors. There's 90 seconds left, and we really, really want to have the flirt done by now, I think, but there's still plenty of ways to finish.
Wow. I need to go back on this. Owen Sorry did something sick.
Yeah, but it got a highlight for the trouble, I think.
They
And
were,
oh boy,
they were going for a drink, but then canceled it to go to a briefcase. Like, they were in the motion of picking up a drink, but they canceled it.
yeah, but Paratroopa didn't like it. Highlight rather than low light. That's the edge line you're walking on. monaters has done some stuff like that. Try to fish for low lights a little bit on gallery, so Paratroopa might be more suspicious rather than less for that kind of thing. And we wait for the flirt timer, and with a minute left, we are done with the flirt. 1 minute left, 2 missions to go. What do you think? Bug, Purloin into statues? What's your choice here, Wodar?
I mean, I'll just go for, like, the classic inspect swap.
Classic, he says. And we are over near the ambassador. I don't know. It feels like we might be lining up a Purloin, though, because the ambassador left right afterwards, and they didn't look particularly buggable to begin with. 40 seconds left. monaters has 40 seconds left to salvage a win. Yep, there's a request drink. It's going to be a Purloin. It's got to be a Purloin. It is a green. It is on screen, but there are so many highlights. If they do anything at all, a highlight has a briefcase as well. We're over near the Amba. Is this going to be a bug rather than a Purloin, or are we just going to hope for a civ shot? The Amba takes the drink. The Amba takes the drink. There's the fade. We bug while the drink is taken, and it is not seen. Paratroopa, 2 hardtails within a couple seconds of each other go off. monaters is going to win this outright after falling behind 5-3.
What a ballsy bug.
Yep. When he went next to the Amba, I thought, wait a second, this is an Inspex. Purloin, green Purloin into Inspex is a classic on Courtyard, but it's also suspicious as a result. Who would do that? The bug timing is with the drink take fade.
But
With the drink take fade.
You know the spy was looking at Toby, and Toby was not next to the ambassador. Like your bug's on screen. There's
On screen, but not in front of the eyes. The eyes are on that fade anyway, I guess. Oh boy, uncovered bug. You know they're going to be looking near you, and that is why it works, I think. 2 hardtails at the end. Monaters aggressive throughout, and it absolutely pays off on high rise, and then again at the end on courtyard when they needed it most. 7-5 after being down 5-3. Monaters keeps pace with Legorv and Copper, 9-0-1.
Yeah, impressive 4 wins at the very end there.
Very impressive.
Get a tie.
Yeah, and rough loss for Paratroopa, but if you're Paratroopa, you know you had a chance to score certainly at least a tie, but maybe an outright upset too. Paratroopa played very well and is 6-3. Unfortunately, their very last match in the final week of the season is against Legorv, so it doesn't get any easier, maybe even gets a little harder. But Paratroopa is still mostly losing to good players and taking care of business when they're favored. That was a big swingy match, though, that could absolutely determine 3rd or 4th in Copper when all's said and done. Wow, what a match. You picked a good one, Wodar. You did not pick the 7-0.
I know. Impressive, right?
Impressive.
I rolled the dice and this is what came up.
I'm sure it was total RNG. Yes, praise the RNG gods here. Give them credit for the match choice so that they will credit you the next time you play a match, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it works. No, great match. It turns out great choice by Wodar. Great play from both players. That was a really you knew that was going to be a tough loss for somebody.
Like, I think that was a very winnable set for Paratroopa.
It was. And that's the kind of solace you have to take. Those losses are very frustrating as a player, but you have to take solace in the fact that you could have had it. You know you can play well enough. They walked away from this, I'm sure, thinking that they can hang with the best in Copper if they didn't know it already.
Mm-hmm.
Still a tough loss, though, to not actually get any points for your trouble.
I would say that they got unlucky at least once, maybe like another one half of the game they got unlucky.
Yep, that's how it goes sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Great set.
Anyway, that is the one and only set for today. Luckily, it was a great one.